Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Vojvodina. This is designed by Boris Durovic. Artist is Andrea Schwartz, and it is published by Brave Giant. This is the second edition.
You guys make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. We would appreciate it so you can hear about all of our content as it comes out. You're the first to know. All right, talking about Vojvodina. This is a game, it's a tile laying game, but there's a couple different twists to it. First of all, you don't have all the tiles at the beginning of the game. You have to kind of earn them. It's this beautiful landscape of this, the Serbian landscape. Let me show you how it plays. All right, for our setup, what we're going to do is we're actually going to build the map ourselves. Every player is going to be given one of these, and we're going to put it on the table, and then the next player in line puts their piece on, connecting it. At least two squares has to be touching. So you could do something like that, or something like that. I'm just going to kind of do a quick two-player thing, but as you can tell, with more players, it would be an even crazier looking map. All right, so every player is also going to get their player color. They're going to get these two kind of small rectangle shapes in their color. Then off to the side, they're going to have a whole bunch more kind of polyomino-shaped puzzles, tile pieces. They don't quite get those yet. All right, then we have our deck of cards. This is going to be all the different cities that we're going to try to feed and get points from. So you're going to shuffle these up, and then you are going to get 6 to each player. There's going to be kind of a drafting thing going on. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your hand, and you're going to make a decision. Do you want to keep a card that you want to try to score, or are you just going to discard a card and then gain one of your pieces? Because that's kind of how you purchase these pieces. You have to discard a card from your hand in order to acquire it. Now it's a piece that you can use. You have to choose a card from your hand and get rid of it in order to make that happen. So let's say we did that. We discarded a card. It's gone out of the game now. We get our, past our new hand from the person to our left, and we make a choice here. This time, let's say we want to actually place a tile down. So this time, what we would do is we would actually keep this card. We place it face down in front of us, showing that we're keeping it. So a couple things about these. First of all, this is how much food it's going to take in order to feed that city, but this is how many points we're going to get if we're able to successfully feed it. Also, there's a set collection thing kind of going on with the top left symbols. There's 3 symbols in the game, and so if you are able to get one of each of those, or a set of 3, you're going to get some bonus points that way as well. So let's say we kept this one. This is an expensive one, but we're going to keep that, which gives us the ability to play one of our tiles on the board. Let's put it there. All right, and so again, now that we've played a card, we're going to pass the rest of our cards to the player on our left, or to the right, and they're going to pass us a new hand of cards. We're going to make that same decision over and over again, either discarding to give ourselves a new tile, or keeping it, and then we have to fulfill it in order to place a tile on the board. Our opponents are obviously going to be placing tiles as well. Who knows what it might look like, something like that. We also have a little cheat sheet that kind of shows everything that's going on here. All right, so each one of the squares of each one of these polyomino pieces gives us 1 food. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 food there. We also would get a bonus based off those top 2 rows there. If we have 3 of our tiles touching each other, we get a bonus of 2 foods. If we can get 4 tiles touching each other, it's a bonus of 3 food. But it's also going to be an incentive for our opponents to be kind of blocking us and trying to get to where we couldn't place 3 or 4 of our tiles touching each other. So at the end of all that, once you are done placing all your tiles, you kept all your cards, now what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if our cities are fed. Counting again the squares, adding in the bonuses we might have earned. We flip over the cards, and we see that, yes indeed, we did feed our cities, so we get this many points. But also, we might get a bonus of points based off of these bonuses here at the bottom of the card. So once again, like we talked about, if we have 3 symbols of the same kind, we get a bonus of 2. If we have one of each symbol, we get a bonus of 2. And if we have more squares out on the board than anyone else, we're also going to get a bonus of 2 points. So we take them from the little victory point pile here. These little coins here. And that's kind of the point of the game, is trying to get as many of these points as possible. These are your victory points. However, that's not the full game. That's just 1/3 of the game. We're going to play 3 full rounds. Now we have these kind of neglected field tokens. Anywhere where a tile was not placed, we're going to place one of these on the board. So we're going to place a whole bunch of these, because I would say this is kind of a fake game. But let's just show you what it might look like. A whole bunch of them. Okay. And then all the players would take their pieces off. And these go off to the side. All the ones that you used, you have to repurchase everything all over again. Anything that you purchased in a previous round, however, and did not use, you still are able to play this round. All right, so we shuffle up all the cards again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to deal out 6 cards to everybody. Do the same drafting mechanism just like before. Only now, when you place a tile and you want to place it wherever there's one of these tokens, let's say we place it right here, we'd have to pay 2 coins from our supply to the bank in order to take care of those fields. So as the board gets filled up, it gets trickier and trickier because you're going to have to start using some of those spots that have those tokens on them. But every time you use one of those spots, it's going to cost you more of your victory points that you've earned. All right, at the end of the third and final round, you're going to count up all the points that you've earned, and whoever has the most victory points wins the game.
There are a lot of tiling games out there, so I feel like you have to do something different in order for it to bring any attention. And I feel like the different thing that this game does, at least I haven't seen it done like this before, and I really liked it, was how in the first round you place the tiles, whatever, and then every square that didn't have a tile on it, you placed a cube on it. You take all your tiles back to the bank and you have to repurchase those. But wherever the cubes are, you have to pay if you want to place there again. And you will. Trust me, you will want to be able to place there, especially if your competitor is placing in all the empty spaces. And so you need to place there as you can't place at all. And so you have to pay money for that. And I just really liked how it made it tighter, right? You can still have that openness or whatever, but this actually shrunk the game to make it harder and more competitive to place those tiles.
At the beginning of the game, before the game even starts, you actually kind of set up the board, which is where all your tiles are going to kind of play on top of. But the thing is, the kind of odd-shaped board tiles, and everyone gets a chance to place one of them. So every time you play the game, you're playing on a different shaped, different kind of arranged board. So that way, every time you play, it's going to be different. And it kind of does 2 things. First of all, as to the replayability, but also it kind of takes you away from the pre-programmed, this is the best spot to go on the board. There is no best spot to go on the board because every time you play, it's going to be a completely different setup, so you never know what you're going to be working with. You have to reevaluate and re-strategize every time you play.
I like how easy it was, right? There's only 2 choices. You're either discarding a card to grab a tile, or you're playing a card to place that tile. And that's it, right? Those are all your choices, but they matter so much. You could try to just discard all your cards to get up all your tiles, but then you're letting everybody else have opportunity to play on there and places that you might need, or at least you're not going to get a connected 3 bonus or anything like that. Or you can just try to play everything you possibly can, blocking other people, but then you're just going to run out of stuff. And so I really like how there's only those 2 choices, but there's just so much more in those 2 choices.
There's kind of 2 different versions of the set collection. First of all, set collection for the scoring, then also kind of a set collection in terms of getting points for the food. So the math in this game was very, very, very clean. It made sense, it was intuitive. The bigger a city is, the more valuable it is, the more food you're going to have to produce in order to pay for that city, which, that worked, as well as the math as far as how many cards were in the deck of each symbol and how many of each one for all the different food things. The math was super clear. It made it very easy to learn and play. You kind of knew what to expect. You kind of plan ahead of times knowing how much food you were going to need to produce in order to pay off, get the maximum amount of points.
There were some graphic design choices that I wasn't super keen on. Like the player boards that everybody's playing on, it has a little bit of the art of the individual player cards. And this is all, I think this is all subject to change, right?
Yeah, this is going into Kickstarter soon, so it's possible that this might change.
But one of the main ones is this Wii, and that's also one of the character things. And I just didn't like that it was different enough, right? When you place it on the board, whereas all the other ones were very clearly different, but this one wasn't. And so I didn't like that graphic design choice.
Yeah, and then I also thought that the victory point tokens, those kind of chits, were very, very thin. Maybe the thinnest chits I've ever seen. They were like glorified paper, essentially. But again, this is not necessarily the final copy, so those production things might be changed in the final run. But yeah, this is a game that we thought had it's brought some new things to the tiling genre, so it was cool.
Well, everybody, if you want to hear more from us, make sure to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us on Facebook. We're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan and Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.